It's finished Arsenal 2, Wolves 1. I'm finding it a bit difficult to find the words to say to sum up my feelings for today, because I'm not happy with the performance that we put out today, especially in the first half. But then I'm trying to take into account as well the fact that we weren't at full strength today. You know, we played Monday, but that shouldn't be an excuse. The players who are coming in should fit in and should be as up for the games as the players who aren't on the pitch. And yes, some haven't had a lot of minutes this season, but that's up to them to then work hard in training and be ready for a match. We didn't really show that today. I thought, especially in the first half, we were very, very poor. The big thing that's getting to me at the moment is the fact that for three weeks in a row, we've conceded a goal within the first 10 minutes. And that's not good enough. What is going on in our heads or at the back to realise that just stay tight for the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then grow into the game at that. But at the moment, we're just conceding early and giving us a massive hill to climb during the game, especially against Arsenal away, who are a really top side. We're just really giving ourselves a really tough challenge, and that doesn't quite compute in my brain why we're doing that. I just don't think the performance itself was good today. I thought players were off it massively today. Wang especially, I thought was really poor. And we lost the battle in midfield very easily. I know Declan Rice and Odegaard and players like that are very good, and Zinchenko just dropping into midfield as well. But still, we should be taking the game to Arsenal, just like we have done against some top teams this year. I understand we're missing players, and I get that, but they've got to be able to slot in. Second half was slightly better. We defended a little bit better. I know they still had probably two chances that they should have scored, but they didn't. And we managed to get a goal back, a very good goal from Cunha, who I'm very happy for, because he's finding his shooting boots now, which is great. But as a whole, we really do need to start games better. That's killing us a little bit at the moment, just starting the game so poorly. So we really need to get into that thought and momentum at the start of the game to not necessarily take the game to Arsenal today, because I'm pretty sure the same thing would have happened if we did. But if we are going to sit back, then we should be well within ourselves to defend well, and that's an issue for us. I mean, people were saying it was a write-off at the start. It's annoying to think that it's a write-off because of some of the teams that we have beat this season already. It's a shame that we couldn't really go at Arsenal at the time, but I understand that there's bigger fish to fry this week with Burnley and Forest coming up. But we've got to start games better. That's killing us a lot at the moment, because we're already climbing a massive hill trying to get out from a 1-0 deficit already, especially away from home and against top of the league. So yeah, on to Burnley on Tuesday. It's a massive game. The boys have got to be up for it more than they are, because they just pumped Sheffield United 5-0 today, so they'll be on top. So we've got to bring them back down to earth, but we've got to find that within ourselves to do that, and hopefully we can. It'll be interesting to see, but we shall soon see if we've changed the way that we see the start of games at the moment, because I'm sure the managers won't be happy about the way that we're conceding early. So yeah, on to Tuesday, big game. So cheers, my on boys, and I'll see you later.
Well, in the end, ended up being a closer game than you thought after the first 15 minutes, but that's where we lost it really. Goal on 7 minutes, another goal on 15, and all a little bit too easy really for Arsenal. I just felt like we didn't really get tight enough in those first 15 minutes, kind of stood off them a little bit, gave them a bit too much respect really. Needed to get tighter, needed to be more physical and give them a bit more of a game, but yeah, didn't get close for the first 15 minutes. And to be honest, they were just better than us initially. You know, for those first 2 goals, good movement, good bits of play. They knew where each other were and looked like a top team that played well together. So you couldn't really argue with that. But after the first 15 minutes, played a little bit better first half without ever threatening. I think Arsenal took the foot off the gas a little bit, let us have the ball, let us kind of, you know, knock it around a little bit without ever really threatening, and then come back out second half and I thought we played much better. Pressing them a lot more, winning the ball a lot higher up the pitch, stringing a few more passes together. Got the ball down the wing well at times, but that never really works. We don't really have the height in the middle to then get the ball over. But yeah, played some better football until obviously Kuna, then about 5 minutes from time, opens up his body well, uses his strength to brush the defender off and sticks it in the top corner. And you're then thinking, we've got a chance, and can we pull it back to 2-2 and get that second goal? But we played okay, I think, after that. We certainly tried. We got the ball forward quick. A few loose passes, which was really the theme of the day. But yeah, did string some half-decent passes together, got the ball into the box, but we never really had that chance that you thought we'd take and go on and score, and ultimately lost 2-1. But as I say, it's that first 15 minutes really cost us, and even when we pulled it back to 2-2, Arsenal should have had a third with Nketiah running through, and I honestly thought he'd scored, but he then hit the post. So yeah, I think they probably eased off a little bit at 2-0. But yeah, you've always got a chance with only 2 goals in it, and on to Burnley on Tuesday.
Yeah, in general, I think that's probably as good as it gets. I expected way worse after the first 15 minutes. It looks like their tactics were to come out, clearly done their research and seen that we're conceding a lot of early goals. Come out really quick, scored 2 quick goals, and you think, it's going to be a cricket score today because we're missing a midfield and no Aït-Nouri, no Neto. Pretty depleted team. But honestly, after the first 15 minutes, I actually thought we pretty much went toe-to-toe with Arsenal. So I think it was a good performance, especially the second half. As soon as Burnley came on, I think we were solid. Didn't create too many chances and gave away quite a few clear-cut chances for them. Obviously, they hit the post a couple of times and they could have scored a few more goals. That's just luck in football, though, isn't it, really? Cunha's taken his goal really, really well. I mean, he scored in another loss, so it's not an important goal. But that's coming. I think he's really developing his goal-scoring ability. So I'm looking forward to seeing where he can take that. And I think once we get, Lamina and Gomez back next week, and maybe even Neto, if he's coming back from injury. I know we probably without Aït-Nouri now for quite a long time. It's quite a significant drop-off on that left side to Hugo Bueno, who actually I thought had a pretty poor game in the first half. Then I think we can start to push towards the upper half of mid-table again. I know we've been struggling in recent times, but I'm also quite positive because we're actually scoring goals in every game. I think we've scored a goal in every single game apart from the Manchester United away game at the start of the season, in which we probably could have scored about 4 or 5 that day, and we were robbed of a penalty. So I think, as far as I'm concerned, like, our goal scoring trouble is pretty much over. There's no such thing as a free hit, but this is about as close as it got for me. I'm not going to let it ruin my weekend. And hopefully next week we can come away with 6 points against 2 really winnable home fixtures. Really looking forward to them. And yeah, it's a half decent performance. I'm not angry about it.
So Arsenal 2 Wolves 1 at the Emirates today. If you said that it would finish like after 15 minutes to me, I'd have gone, well, that's not too bad. But at the end of the day, we have lost, but we have lost to a very, very, very good team that looked like they could hit us for 5 or 6. Like we got hit under a certain someone towards the back end of last year, and that team crumbled and fell apart. But that doesn't seem to be a characteristic of this team under Gary O'Neill, which I have to say I do admire. We scored in every match now apart from the one at Manchester United, and God knows how we didn't score in that game. This is a defeat today, but I'm certainly not as angry as I was after Monday night's defeat. Look, Wolves' season is not going to be defined whether they win, lose or draw at the Emirates against Arsenal. Let's be realistic here. But there were a few things during the performance that kind of worried me. I was like, oh, we were ripped to pieces in the first 15 minutes. I think didn't create a whole lot at all, really. We got a goal from a scrap out of nothing, but it's a great finish by Cunha. Hugo Bueno really struggled against Saka again, and if you remember last year in the 5-0 game at the Emirates, Saka tore him to pieces on the final day last season, and he did it again today, really, especially first half until Bueno was replaced by Doherty in the second half. Between Tomato against Mitoma and Bueno against Bukayo Saka, the two of them, they just have one player that they're absolute kryptonite, and that is Saka for Bueno, and it's hopefully he'll be better against Burnley if he's in, and if Ainori indeed is back, which I would hope he comes back in, because I think anyone that plays on that left side will struggle to replicate what Ryan Ainori can give to this team, especially going forward. Missing Lamina, missing Gomez, missing Neto. Hopefully when all three of them come back in, Wolves will be looking more balanced and a stronger outfit, certainly capable of troubling the opposition goal more than they looked like it today. But like I said, Arsenal are a very good team, but we have lost at the end of the day. Like that's a harsh reality of it. A massive game now against Burnley team that just beat Sheffield United 5-0 on Tuesday. It is a huge game. If Wolves can win, we can just all relax again after the last two matches, because it's been a tough week for Wolves, but it's not like today isn't as bad as what Monday night was. After 15 minutes, like I said, thought we could lose 5 or 6, but we didn't. It's all about Tuesday and next Saturday now against Nottingham Forest. Gary O'Neill said in his press conference at SA should be fine for Burnley on Tuesday, which is a massive relief to me, because SA is a better goalkeeper than Dan Bentley, really. But not a whole lot to add. The game was drifting in the second half. Wolves got their goal back. Arsenal were missing chances, and you thought maybe towards the end. Didn't really create an opportunity. Got one cross in that Raya could catch. But not really much more to say. Arsenal beating us, Arsenal a better team than us, and Wolves can now focus on Tuesday and next Saturday. And after these two matches now, I think we'll have a very good gauge as to where Wolves are going under Gary O'Neill, whether it's going to be a scary season down towards the bottom end of the Premier League, or we can maybe look to settle into that bunch of teams in the middle of the table. But hopefully Ainori back for Tuesday, and hopefully Neto's not too far away either. But just coming up short today at the Emirates, Arsenal 2, Wolves 1.
How's it going, guys? It's finished Wolves 1, Arsenal 2. In a game that was pretty much over in the first, 13 minutes or whatever? I can't even remember. It happened so fast. Arsenal just looked awesome today. You can see why they're top of the league. But to be fair, I think we looked a bit scared of them, to be honest. I think we gave them a ball too much. And then when they were on the ball as well, it was always like we were backpedaling. We were never trying to be aggressive or anything. And I think what's frustrating is if it ended 2-0, then I'd have been not so frustrated with the way we played, because I'd have seen that that's how Arsenal were playing, and it was because they were, better than us. But to get that second goal at the end, and the manner of which we got it in, which was an aggressive... They're Arsenal in possession. They're about to come out of their area. Semedo is aggressive, forces a mistake from Zinchenko, and then it's a great finish by Cunha. But then you're thinking, throughout the game, we didn't do that at all. We weren't aggressive while they were on the ball. And now you see that that's how we could have got at them. It is slightly disappointing that that's not how we went about things. We just let them have the ball far too much. They danced around us like crazy. And to be honest with you, I can't really fault the defence that much for the 2 goals, because it's just one of those goals, 2 of those goals, that no defender's really defending that. No goalkeeper's saving that. It was such a quick movement that it's injured Sarr in the process. It sent him all sorts of different ways, and he's twisted his back out, and hopefully that's not an injury that causes him too much problems. But yeah, that was pretty much the story of the game. They scored 2 very quick, good goals. Wolves just sat back and invited more and more pressure. And it was pretty much the same in the second half, to be fair, for a vast majority of the game. And then eventually, like I say, we're aggressive maybe once out of the whole game with them on the ball, thinking that, it's going to be easy street getting through Wolves. And Cunha gets onto the ball with a bit of aggression, and it's 2-1, and then we're fighting for it then, and they're sort of sitting back. They make a load of defensive changes, and you can tell, like, it felt a little bit like the Spurs game where, Arsenal was scared. They were there for the taking, and it just makes it just a little bit disappointing how that game ended, because you could just see that if we'd have come in with that game plan and made it a bit unsettling for them on the ball. And to me, I think it all resorts in the fact that Lemina didn't play and Gomez didn't play, because to me, that is like absolutely essential for us to have those two in the middle of the park, because Traore, he's okay, but he has to play with a ball-winning midfielder. He's not one. Doyle's not one. And it was just very disjointed, and we just lost every single battle in the midfield. So at some points, I had to pause at some points, because the space in which Arsenal had in that middle of the field was criminal at points. And that's pretty much what won them the game, because you can't do that with the way they pass to the wingers so fast. If you give ball winners that much space, if you give box-to-box midfielders like Rice that much space, then it's only going to end one way. And unfortunately, that's what happened today with Wolves. Yeah, okay, I'm happy that we gave it a little go towards the end, and some of the substitutions today, I actually think some of them were pretty good. Unfortunate to lose Sarr the way we did, but I think Bentley had a good game, actually. He didn't have that much to do, but when he did have things to do, he made some good saves. He commanded the box better than Sarr. His distribution was, like, unbelievable in comparison to Sarr, which is a little bit worrying, really, when you think Sarr's our number 1. Bentley's very much our number 2, and I think he had a better game, to be fair, which is a little bit concerning going forward, because I don't know how long Sarr's going to be out, but hopefully Bentley plays the way he did in that second half, because he was all right. I thought Hugo Bueno today looked sluggish. Doesn't quite look match fit for me. I think he'll need a few more minutes in the legs to get better. I think Doherty's out now, to be honest. He just doesn't look like the sort of player that is going to help us anymore, really. Very, very slow. Clumsy first touch. He's all right at getting forward, but he doesn't really know what to do with it when he's there. And so that substitution wasn't great. I think Sasha, it's a weird one with Sasha Kalajdzic, because in a team where we were more hoof the ball up, hit a target man, nod it down to a decent striker, he'd be a good player for us. But because we're such a counter-attacking team, he's pretty much got no place in the team at the moment, and it's really disappointing, to be fair, because we've got a really tall guy who you'd think, a couple of good balls into the box, and he's getting to the air. He's beating everyone in the air, isn't he? But never seems to happen with him, and I think that's just because of the way we play under Gary O'Neill. I don't think we're a team that really plays to put balls in the box from crosses. So don't know. It's a weird one, isn't it? I thought Sarabia, when he came on, looked really good, actually. I think Sarabia probably needs to start next over Bellegarde. I think Bellegarde needs a rest, in my opinion. He looked a bit leggy when he came off. But yeah, it's only 2-1. I think that Arsenal just were a much better side today. I did want to talk about the ref as well, because I actually think the ref did a good job today. And I think, like, if the ref does a good job and there's not any, like, dodgy decisions for the officiators, I think we need to really celebrate those moments, to be fair, because as fans of football, there hasn't been that many games as there where you feel like, you know, the refs controlled the game really well, yellow cards for the right reasons. Even as a Wolves fan, looking at Huang diving today, he gets a yellow. You know, that's what you want to see. If consistency's there, it doesn't matter what team you support. You're happy, aren't you? Because the decisions go the right way. Yeah, it's disappointing. Obviously, it's good to see Cunha on the score sheet again. Second game running. That's positive. You know, that's positive. It's nice to see as well that other than Man United, we've scored in every game, which I don't think Wolves fans have celebrated that enough. Really, when you think about how we were last season, we couldn't score a goal for fun last season. We look awful, and Gary O'Neill's come in, and we haven't had a game when we haven't scored a goal, which is mad, you know. So there's some things you can say that were positive, but just not enough today. Onwards to some hopefully winnable home games against some sides at the bottom. We look good at home, and that's where we want to pick up the points, really. I think if we start to lose those games, then we can worry. But against Arsenal today, it was never going to happen. So, yeah, thanks for having us on, lads, and see you later.